Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me today on This Needs to Be Read. I am your host, Catherine Jones, and I'm excited because I had a guest come on the show last year to give us the books that made the list for 2021, books you must read, and it's summertime, and so she came back, and I'm so excited about that. I love it when I remember someone. I love it when there's a repeat guest, and especially around books. So I'm welcoming Erin Kodicek back to This Needs to Be Read. How are you? And thank you.
I'm fantastic. Thank you so much for having me back. And I love the name of this show, too. That is very clever.
Awesome. Thank you. I appreciate that. I'm a Dr. Seuss fan, so I don't know if that's any tell.
Yeah.
To make it right.
That makes sense.
But for 2022, there are some books that are considered the best. And my question, and I don't know why I was thinking about this last night as I'm waiting for our interview today, because there's really nothing to prepare, right? But I always wonder, how do these particular books make the list? How do they get to be the best?
We have a list of best of the month selections, actually. So on the first of the month, we always release our favorites of, now it's June. So we've got a June list. But then when it comes to be the halfway point of the year and then at the end of the year, we look at all of those selections. Then we have a really, really tough time because then we have to pick the best of the best. We have to pick our favorites of our favorites. And so it's a really tense sort of book club conversation without the wine, which is a bummer. So, we always make these decisions the old-fashioned way. We argue, and I think this year we argued even more than, I was thinking this is like a particularly tense conversation, but that's exactly what you want because all of us, we all have our personal favorites too.
Absolutely.
And then we have to just sort of look out and say, well, but what is the average reader? What are they going to like? Like, this might be my personal favorite, but, maybe this is not, somebody else's jam. So it's tough to strike that balance, but it's also a pretty fun process.
Now, I also have another question. If I haven't read any of the books off of this favorites list, because I interview authors all the time, and I'm saying I don't see any of the people I've interviewed, any of the books that I've read. Does that mean I'm not reading the best books?
It doesn't at all. I actually kind of love it that's the case, and now I want to know. Like, I want to know what's on your list. These are the fun conversations to have, right? But I think for everybody,
I only pick books that I would read. So when the opportunity comes up for me to read a book or to interview someone about a book, you could interview someone and not read their book because, there's notes and there's a summary and it's a conversation. So I'm good at that, talking. But I want to read the book. And over the years, I've learned from authors starting out that they're so in love with their project. Did you read it? And if you say yes, they're going to know if you didn't. And a few people have dedicated a page to me in their book. So they know if I read it or not. So you read the whole book. You didn't see your name. I'm going, oh, my gosh, So getting busted, skimming a page, I don't want to be that. Yeah. So I'm looking at my shelf right now. One of the things that I got to read this year that was really cool that's not on this list is about a movie. My husband is really getting me into movies, Blood, Sweat, and Chrome, about Mad Max Fury Road. So we ended up watching the movie, made a date night around this book, and I had a great time with that author. But, they're writing about how the movie almost wasn't made and who bumped heads and stuff like that. So, you get some behind the scenes. Talking with the guy this year about LinkedIn and how to really make LinkedIn work. So people in business, I'm like, I'm in business, So when I'm looking at these books, it's something I would pick up and read. And then there's some summer fun stuff. Like there's no goal other than pleasure. But they're not on this list. So I was like, am I not reading the best of the best? How do we make this cut? But there's 20 on this list. Go ahead.
I think you touched on something really great, which is people read for different reasons, right? Like sometimes you read pure pleasure. Sometimes you read because you want to learn more about the behind the scenes behind a movie or something, or I'm in business and so I want I want to learn how to be even business, more business savvy or something, so I'm going to read this book. So everybody reads for different reasons, and that's why we do have this overall top 20. So these are the favorites of the favorites, but we also have lists of recommendations in a bunch of different categories. So if you're somebody that likes biographies and memoirs or history, mystery, science fiction, romance, we've got recommendations in those categories as well. But, I think whenever, especially when it's summertime and I get to talk to somebody like you, I'm always like, what's on your favorite list? What is on your list? Because I'm probably going to want to put it on my list.
Oh my God. Well, I'm gonna tell you, because there were some summer fun ones, and because my husband is more of a movie buff and I'm more of the bookworm, some of these books help bring us together. I interviewed an author of The Handler, and he's a disgraced CIA officer, and his ex-wife is his handler. So that in itself, I was like, okay, well, that's dramatic. Right. That's just the first corner of the summer, So it's that, and then there's Summer at the Cape. That is Rayanne Fine, and I've had her on before, and summer reading and some drama and some secrets unfolding and something that the family didn't know. They find out, that kind of behavior. But then there's another book like that too, Secrets of Our House. So this isn't even, going on vacation or being at the beach. This is, again, family secrets again. And the dynamics that people are able to put into fiction is amazing to me, because I'm like, who's going to get sued for writing about their family, because it sounds a lot like some people I know, And then one of
that's
the
why they put in the beginning, this is how I remember it, so don't blame me if I'm remembering it incorrectly.
Hey, it's my perspective. And then one other cool one was How to Grow, and that one is about working in your garden. I kill just about anything, so my husband helps me keep plants alive when he buys them for me. And I was told to continue to have the dead flowers or plants because I'm going to learn what I did wrong so I can stop doing it. I was like, really? Is that really? Because my husband told me to keep my hands off of it. But through this book and that interview, I was encouraged to, just keep trying. You'll eventually stop killing stuff. Yeah. And I was like, wow, So I have a friend I want to give the book to, but then I want to keep the book, But she's going to get it for Christmas.
Right.
But these are things that come up, and I was excited about it. I know that gardening would be a challenge for me. Maybe this person would bring something, but it also talked about self-care. So, again, people reading for different reasons, self-care. And that's
right.
So, yes, those are the things that's on my list. We have a great time.
I love it. Well, what are you in the mood for reading now? Maybe I can make a recommendation to you, and you can make a recommendation to me.
I don't know. It's really how you present it to me. So you tell me something that you are interested in, and one of these books maybe that's on this top 20 list, give me a recommendation, because I'm wide open. I can find an angle for any reason.
I'm going to tell you, I'll talk to you about our number one pick, because it's a really weird book to talk about. And when I tell people about it, they say, is that a children's book? And are you serious? And I say, it is not a children's book. And yes, I am serious. You will love it. It's called Remarkably Bright Creatures by a first-time author named Shelby Van Pelt. And it's about it's fiction. It's about a lonely widowed woman who works at this aquarium. It's in Seattle. I can't remember if they say it's Seattle, but it's a fictional aquarium. And there's a little bit of a mystery involved because her son disappeared a long time ago. And so it's about love, it's about loss, it's about grief. But she solves the mystery of her son's disappearance. This is where you have to suspend your disbelief and go with me a little bit. She does this with the help of an octopus that she becomes friends with.
You know what? That's not. Come on. I've seen one of these. I think I'm going to like this. It was in a movie my husband showed me.
Yes. But it is so charming. It is so endearing. And my colleague who reads mysteries, like really dark stuff, she's the one that recommends